माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन बल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन बल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन बल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा बनचारी यमुना तीरा बनचारी यमुना तीरा बनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी 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 जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतभय चरणार बिंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सद्भक्ति सिद्धांत श्री ठाकुर गोस्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य से हरदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। ब्रजभूमि वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा मई की जय। जमुना मई की जय। श्रीमती तुलसी देवी की जय। श्रीमती भक्ति देवी की जय। कलयुग पावन श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंदी। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू श्री गुरु एंड गौरांग। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। हरे कृष्णा। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 2, Text 17 and title, The Lord in the Heart. So please repeat after me. नयत्र कालो निमशां परः प्रभु कुतो नु देवा जगतां य ईशिरे नयत्र सत्वं न रजस्तमश्च नैव विकारो न महान् प्रधानम् न यत्र कालो निमिषां परः प्रभु कुतो नु देवा जगतां य ईशिरे न यत्र सत्वं न रजस्तमश्च नैव विकारो न महान् प्रधानम् न यत्र कालो निमिषां परः प्रभु कुतो नु देवा जगतां य ईशिरे न यत्र सत्वं न रजस्तमश्च नैव विकारो न महान् प्रधानम् कुतो नु देवा जगतां य ईशिरे न यत्र सत्वं न रजस्तमश्च नैव विकारो न महान् प्रधानम् न यत्र कालो निमिषा परः प्रभु कुतो न देवा जगता ईशिरे नत्र सत्त्वस् रजस्तमश्च नैव विकारो न महान् प्रधानम् न यत्र कालो निमिषां परः प्रभु कुतो नु देवा जगतां ईशिरे न यत्र सत्वं रजस्तमश्च न विकारो न महान् प्रधानम्. Mataji, the word to one meaning. Na, not, yatra, wherein, kalaha, destructive time, inimishaha, of the heavenly demigods, paraha, superior, prabhu, controller, kutaha, where is there, no, certainly, devaha, the demigod, jagatam, the mundane creature, those, isire, rules, na, not, yatra, therein, sattvam, mundane goodness, na, nar, rajaha, mundane passion, tamaha, mundane ignorance, cha, also, na, nor, vai, certainly, vikaraha, transformation, na, nor, mahan, the material causal ocean, pradhanam, the material nature. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. In that transcendental state of Labdhov Shanti, there is no supremacy of the devastating time which control even the celestial demigod, who are empowered to rule over the mundane creature, and what to speak of the demigod themselves. Nor is there the mode of material goodness nor the passion, nor the ignorance, nor even the false ego, nor the material causal ocean, nor the material nature. Purport. Devastating time is controlled even the celestial demigod by its manifestation of the past, present, and future, does not act on the transcendental plane. The influence of the time is exhibited by the symptom of the birth, death, old age, disease. And these four principles of material condition are present everywhere in any part of the material cosmos up to planet of the Brahmaloka, where the duration of life of the inhabitant appear to be fabulous. Insurmountable time even the bring about the death of the Brahma. So what do we speak of other demigods like Indra, Chandra, Surya, Vayu and Varuna? The astronomical influence dictated by the different demigods over the mundane creation is also conspicuous by its absence. In the material existence, that the living entity are afraid of the satanic influence, but for the devotee on the transcendental plane, there is no such fear at all. The living entity changes their material body in the different shape and form under the influence of the different modes of material nature. But in the transcendental state of devotee is gunatit, or the above of the material modes of goodness, passion and ignorance. Thus the false ego, I am the Lord of the all I survey, does not arise there. In the material world, the false ego of the living being trying to lord it over the material nature is sometimes like the moth is falling in the blazing fire. The moth is captivated by the glaring beauty of the fire, and when he is come to enjoy it, the blazing fire consumes him. In the transcendental state, the living being is the pure in his consciousness, and such as he has no false ego to lord it over the material nature. Rather, his pure consciousness directed him to surrender on the Supreme Lord, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Vasudeva sarvamiti sa mahatma sudurlabha. All this indicate that the transcendental state there is neither material creation nor the causal ocean of the material nature. The above mentioned state of affair is factual on the transcendental plane, but is factually revealed in the transcendentalist knowledge of the advanced state of pure consciousness. Such transcendentalists are two types, namely the impersonalist and the devotee. For the impersonalist, the ultimate goal or destination is the Brahma Jyoti of the spiritual sky. But the devotee, the ultimate goal is Vaikuntha planet. The devotee experiences the above mentioned state of aware by attainment of the spiritual form of activity in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. But the impersonate, because of his neglecting the association of the Lord, does not develop the spiritual body for the spiritual activity, but remain on the spiritual spark only, merge in the effulgence of the spiritual rays of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord is the full-fledged form of eternity, bliss and knowledge, but the formless Brahma Jyoti is simply eternity and knowledge. The Vaikuntha planet are also the form of the eternity, bliss and knowledge, and therefore the devotee of the Lord who are admitted into the abode of the Lord also get the body of the eternity, bliss and knowledge. As such, there is no difference between one another. The Lord's abode, name, fame, entourage, etc. are all the same transcendental quality, and how this transcendental quality different from the material world is explained here in this verse. In the Bhagavad Gita, three principal subject have been explained by Sri Krishna, namely the Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. But one can reach the Vaikuntha planet by the practice of the Bhakti Yoga only. The other two are incompetent in the helping one to reach the Vaikuntha. Although they can, however, conveniently take one to the effulgence Brahma Jyoti I described above. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuron Militam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanmitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitansha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Brinda Baneshwari Vrishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatade Satarani Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Welcome to all the devotees on the Wednesday morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. And we are discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 2, the Lord in the heart. And text 17, Nayatra kalo nimisam para prabhu kuto ne deva jagatam yaisre nayatra sattvam rajas tamasya nave vikaro namahan pradhanam. And in this purport, Srila Prabhupada beautifully bring out the highest principle, the devotional service. And Srila Prabhupada glorifying in this chapter how the bhakti is important in the bhakti. The second canto, first chapter, described about Virat Rupa, focusing on meditation upon Virat Rupa form, and end of the last verse of the first chapter describing the focusing of the Chaturvus form of the Bhagavan Paramatma, meditation of the Paramatma. And now here they continue this, the Lord in the heart, the meditation on the Paramatma feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we saw many classes, heard many classes, Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Dharana, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. This process of meditation by the yogi, Ashtanga Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, is not very easily to achieve the goal. This process is very difficult. Therefore, Sukadeva Goswami bring out this process here to understand first this process, then we can understand easily how the bhakti is. That this process, the Ashtanga meditation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the Paramatma feature. And following the yam, niyam, asan, none of this yam, niyam, asan, pranayam are very easily to achieve, very easily to follow, very, very difficult. And therefore, in the 10th canto, Sukadeva Goswami bring out this connection here. Sukadeva Goswami is saying, Yad pad pansur bahujanma kirikshate dhitatmir yogi bhir api alabhya. So Sukadeva Goswami is saying कि yogi may undergo severe austerities and penance after many, many births. Not one birth, not two births. He is saying many, many births doing austerity, following the regulatory principle, doing the yam, niyam, asan, controlling the mind. Not one life, not two life. He is saying many, many, bahujanma, dhitatma yogi, still very, very difficult to control the mind. But he is saying, after many, many births, it due to conquer time, when the yogi attain the perfection of the controlling the mind, they will still many, many births, if the yogi control the mind and able to controlling the mind and will, therefore they will still unable to taste the dust of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prabhupada begin labdhopa santi, full blissful. That state yogi comes under controlling the mind, focusing on the Supreme Personality of Godhead from the lotus feet going up, and in this way became full in bliss. But that bliss, as Sukadeva Goswami saying, that bliss is compared to the particle of the dust of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not able to. Therefore, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Kama Krodha Vimuktatma Yatinam Yat Chetasam. If you want to do meditation following the yam, niyam, asan, then Kama Krodha Vimuktatma. You have to control the Kama, Krodha, and free from all material desire. And have a full control of the mind, Chetasam. Have the full control on mind, Chetasam, then the yogi achieve the goal of that bliss, the saying the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the Sukadeva Goswami is saying, this achievement is very, very easily achieved by the devotees who follow the devotional service, path of devotional service. And this is confirmed, Sukadeva Goswami, in the 4th canto, the conversation with those Chatus Kumara and Prithu Maharaj, and one of the Kumaras advising the Prithu Maharaj, ki yadapada pankaja palasa vilasa bhaktya. And he is saying, the devotee who are always engaging the service of the toe of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead easily overcome hard-knotted desire for footy activities. So this hard-knotted desire for the footy activities, every conditioned soul have the desire for the footy activities. Even the yogis, therefore they have to control all these things. But he is saying, but the devotee are it is very difficult. None of the Jnanis, yogis, although they are trying to stop the wave of sense gratification, but not possible for them. But devotee is just engaging in devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in this way, he is controlling everything, engaging in service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The both verses and this 16 verse also says, engage in mind with intelligence and come to the super soul, and in this way that come to the labdhoba santi. Therefore, Krishna also want to see what is the mind. The Krishna, when Krishna, demigods, Brahmadev and all the demigods go to the Shir Sagar and pray the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Lord Krishna is thinking that he is also want to see what is the exactly mind, how it works the mind. Therefore, thinking in this way, Krishna appeared in the mind of Vasudeva. What exactly mind? Actually, everything is created by the Krishna only. Krishna knows everything, in and out. Still, Krishna wants to see the mind, in the mind of the devotee, what happening, what they are doing. Therefore, in the both process, the Ashtanga yogi, Dhyana yogi, and Bhakti yogi, mind plays the very, very important role in the sadhaka's life. And therefore, Krishna wants to see what happening in the mind, what is the mind. And through that, appearing the mind of the Vasudeva, Krishna established the higher principle of what the Vedas says. So Krishna, one activity and establishing so many principles what the Vedas saying. The Vedas also, Upanishad says, Lord is Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna, Lord is very, very small. He is the smallest person. He is the smallest. He is the smallest than the Anu. Very, very smallest. And he is the biggest and biggest. He is the biggest of the biggest. They establish this statement of the Vedas, Lord appear in the mind of the Vasudeva. Because the mind is very, very small, very, very sukshma, very, very subtle. We cannot catch the mind. Where? How the function of the mind, very, very difficult to understand. So Krishna want to establish the Vedas that Krishna is the smallest person. He can become the smallest of the smallest person. And he is the bigger of the bigger person. To establish this statement of the Upanishad, Krishna appeared in the mind of Vasudeva. The mind is very small, so I will enter into mind, become very small. In this way, Krishna appearing the mind of Vasudeva. And other meaning is how Krishna appearing in the mind. It says that Krishna has two main powerful object. One is chariot and one is the daruga. So going anywhere in the planet, in the material world, in the spiritual world, he have his chariot and his daruga. But sometime, if the devotee's call comes, devotee's call out to Krishna for the help. May the Garuda and the chariot, Darug, both not competent to reach the devotee, become the slow. Therefore, it is also mentioned, Krishna, when the devotee call out for the Krishna to help, Krishna travel through the mind of the devotees to reach the devotees, to help a devotee bring out from his distress condition. Therefore, mind is very, very important, play the important role of the sadhaka. Therefore, Sukdev Goswami is saying Therefore, you are advised to engage in the devotional service of the Krishna, the son of Vasudeva. They is saying to Prithu Maharaj, therefore you should engage your mind the service of the Vasudeva, Krishna. And Prabhupada in the purport, even the great sages are not able to control the forces of the senses, and those who are engaged in devotional service of Supreme Personality of Godhead, lotus feet of the Lord, they approve the desire of the fruitive activities. The desire of fruitive activities are very, very difficult to uproot. And that desire is compared like banyan tree. The banyan tree is spread so much in so much areas. We cannot uproot the banyan tree because it's rooted so deeply in the different places. Very, very difficult to uproot that banyan tree. To compare, the desire it like banyan tree rooted in the deep, and other process are not able to uproot that desire of fruitive activity. But here Sanat Kumara saying, Chatus Kumara saying to Prithu Maharaj, by the practice of devotional service, by engaging yourself in devotional service, that deep desire for fruitive activities, you can uproot and throw away the dead desire. And you can become free from this material desire. Therefore, Prabhupada saying this verse, Kama Kodha Vimuktatma, in this Bhagavad Gita chapter, Prabhupada said, Prabhupada gave the example of the Darsana Dhyan and Sparsai. And Prabhupada is giving the example, Darsana Dhyan Sparsai, Masya Kurma Bihangama. The Masya Kurma Bihangama. So Prabhupada saying, कि darshan, by meditation, fish meditate on their eggs and that brings out that is his offspring. And kurma, the tortoise, meditate on his leg. He lay down the egg on the earth, mud, and he again went to the ocean and the water. And from there he meditate on his leg and bring out his offspring. And a sparsa is bird. By the touching of the egg, bird brings out their offspring. Similarly, Prabhupada is saying, similarly the devotee in Krishna consciousness, although in the far away from the Lord's abode, Vaikuntha, can elevate himself to that abode simply by thinking him constantly. So by thinking him constantly, he can elevate it to the abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By engagement in Krishna consciousness, he does not feel pains of material miseries. This state of the like is called Nirvana, Brahma Nirvanam. In this way, Srila Prabhupada is saying how we can engage ourselves in this material world, and serving in the devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, Narottam Das कुछ थे कि काम क्रोध लोभ मद मोह मत्सर. The yogi, Ashtanga yogi, Dhyana yogi have to control on this aspect, Kram, Krodha, Lobha, Matsar. But the Bhakti Marg is advised by Narottam Das Thakur, saying we can engage this thing, Kama Krishna Arpane, Krodha Bhakta Dvesi Jane, Lobha Sadhu Sangha Hari Katha. We should not have to worry about controlling the anger, controlling the lust, controlling the greed. He is saying we should engage ourselves in this service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In this way, we can achieve the desired goal of the bhakti at the Vaikuntha planet, what the Srila Prabhupada is saying here. Therefore, the Sukadeva Goswami saying in the 10th canto, the verse, he is saying, Yadapada pansar bahujanma krikshate kim vanirate dishtam atho brajokasam. What to speak of the Brajavasis, great fortune of the Brajavasis, who is just witnessing the pastime of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Braj Gopas playing with the Supreme Personality of Sri Krishna. All the gopis are just witnessing, elder gopis, young gopis, all the gopis, Vrajavasis are just witnessing, seeing the beautiful form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. This is the beauty of Sri Krishna. Therefore, Nanda Ashtakam says, Tribhanga Rupa, the Lord's Tribhanga Rupa, Nakaduti Sudharakam, Apurna, Purna, the Nakaduti Sudhar, Tribhanga Rupa, Nakaduti Subharakam. So Krishna, when about to appear, he is thinking, I will give my the Tribhanga Rupa form, the Tribhanga Rupa of my devotees. So devotee will become more happy. I want to kirtarth my devotee to give this Tribhanga Rupa. Tribhanga Rupa form is not available. So Sri Krishna want to give original form of his Tribhanga Rupa. And therefore, Mother Devaki also says, please appear. Krishna appear in the 400 form. They said, no, please appear on 200 form. Arjuna also says, please, when saw the Virat Rupa Krishna, please appear in 200 form. So Krishna want to make Kirtarth to his devotee appear in 200 form, threefold bending form as Sri Krishna, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, to please the devotees. Though, therefore, this form is very, very easily available in this material world. And we can meditate on, we can serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead and achieve our goal. Therefore, it is mentioned when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu traveling to the Jagannath Puri and went to Jagannath Puri, and he had first meeting with the Saurabhauma Bhattacharya, and Saurabhauma Bhattacharya thought to seeing the young sannyasi, to how to maintain a sannyas vow. So Saurabhauma Bhattacharya want to give some instruction about Vedanta Sutra, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can strictly follow the vow of the sannyas. And he want to give some instruction. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted, yes, you are like father, you can instruct me, I will accept whatever you said. And that conversation, after 7 days, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Bhattacharya asked, you are not speaking, not asking anything, are you understand? And Mahaprabhu then first time opened his mouth and said, I know the Vedanta Sutra, I know the Vedanta Sutra very clearly. Vedanta Sutra is like sun. But your explanation is covering the sun. And that time, Saurabhauma Bhattacharya, he realized whom I am dealing. This is not ordinary person. And in this way, conversation goes, and Saurabhauma Bhattacharya accepted the defeat and accepted the Bhakti Marg. And when accepted Bhakti Marg, he asked the question, he asking the question of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, And he asked, Bhakti sadhan shreshth sunite, hailaman Prabhu upadesha kaila nama sankirtan. The Swami Bhattacharya says, which item of the devotional service, very, very important item, which are the very, very important of devotional service, which item are very, very important in devotional service, execution of devotional service. And that Mahaprabhu explained, Bhakti sadhan shreshth sunle hoy Prabhu upadesh kaila nama sankirtan. The Bhattacharya asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu which item the most important in the execution of devotional service. The Lord replied that the most important item was the chanting the holy name of the Lord. The chanting of the holy name of the Lord is the main important item in the execution of the devotional service. And hearing from the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just not saying, he is proving the word. What I am saying, this is mentioned in the Shastra. To confirm this statement, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quoting Brihad Naradi Purana. In the Brihad Naradi Purana mentioned, in this age of the quarrel and hypocrisy, the only means to deliverance is the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. There is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way. And hearing from this Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya became so happy. He just fell down like the rod in front of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and accepting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Before that, he was not accepting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When Gopinath Acharya explaining this is not ordinary person, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is not convinced about, and then Gopinath Acharya said, when you achieve the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then you can understand who he is. Now, Swami Bhattacharya, now the Gopinath Acharya saying, Suni Bhattacharya mane hoile chamatkar, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, ए श्लोक के अर्थ सुनला करेला विस्तार. The hearing from the verse in this Brihad Naradi Purana, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained, and Gopinath Acharya says, Gopinath Acharya बोले आमी पूर्व कहिला सुनी भट्टाचार्य तुम्हारा said haila, सत्य haila. He is saying, I said before, when the Lord Chaitanya's mercy come, then you can understand the Supreme Personality. You can understand him. The Swami Bhattacharya saying, no, this is not correct. He is saying, Tumi Mahabhagavad, Ami Tarak Andhe, Prabhu Kripa Kaila Mora Tomara Sambandhe. Because you are the Mahabhagavad, you are the devotee of the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bestows his mercy upon me because of your connection. I am your relative. I have your connection with you. Not the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because I have connection with you, devotee. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bestows his mercy on me. In this way, Swami Bhattacharya, the life, the meditation on the Supreme Personality, the meditation on the holy name, chanting of the holy name was his morning duties. Meditation of every day's morning duties became the morning duty of the Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. In this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu glorifying the holy name, because this week we are celebrating the World Holy Name Days. Here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu establishing the Holy name, chanting of the holy name is the main principle of devotional service. We cannot avoid it. We have to chant, we have to meditate on holy name, we have to remember the holy name. And in this Chaitanya Chantar Madhya connection with the Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, we can see how, after hearing from the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya became the Vaishnava, Mahabhagavat. And he became Mahabhagavat, and he went to see the darshan of the Jagannath ji, Subhadra or Baldev ji. And while coming, he came with Jagannanand Pandit Damodar, and he's with Mahaprasad, full with tokri of Mahaprasad, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya took out a palm leaf and write something and gave it to the Jagannanand and says, please go and deliver this Mahaprasad and this palm leaf to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And when both came to the kuti of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was staying, Mukunda saw. The Mukunda, when saw that both are coming with a tokri, he just went and took out the palm leaf. And he took out the palm leaf, he just read what Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya written there. And he just write down on the wall of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And every devotee just reading and became so happy seeing this, what Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya written. Then Jagannatha took the palm leaf from the Mukunda and gave to the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. After reading the palm leaf, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just tore out the palm leaf and threw away. But Mukunda already written in the wall. And that was the Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, written by the Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Vairagya Vidya Nij Bhakti Yogam Sikshata Eka Purusha Purana Sri Krishna Chaitanya Sarira Dhari Kripam Bhodiriyas Tamham Prapadde. Now the Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who not accepting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Supreme Personality of Godhead, and now becoming devotee, Mahabhagavat, he accepting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he is saying, I am taking the shelter. Now I am taking the fully shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this way, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya became the wonderful Vaishnava. And we can see the life of Srila Prabhupada also. How the Srila Prabhupada went to the West and there is no support, nothing. And he just took out his one dugdugi and sit on one tree and just his chanting of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And by his chanting of the holy name, he attracts so many young people. The young people seeing that one old man is chanting, they came and they also start chanting and joining, playing the other instrument. In this way, Srila Prabhupada started this movement through the chanting of the holy name. Therefore, being the follower of Srila Prabhupada, we should always engage ourselves in the chanting of the holy name and never forget this chanting of the holy name. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. I should stop here. Granthra Srimad Bhagavat Mahapurana ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki.